Hey guys, I hope y'all are having a great day today. So we're going to be checking out the new ABH Magic Touch Concealer. So I have two of the shades here. So I'm going to be trying one of them out as an under eye brightening concealer. And then the other one, I might be trying that out as a spot concealer depending on how I like the shade when I swatch them. So we're going to see how these apply and then we're going to be doing a wear test today. So before we get started, if you're here for the first time, hello, welcome, and thank you so much for stopping by. My name is SonyaNicole and I do makeup videos here, and I also do some stuff for us 40 and over makeup lovers. So please consider subscribing while you're here today. I would really appreciate your support, and of course I would love to have you join the channel. Okay y'all, let's jump right into it. Okay, I have two of the shades in the concealer. I have shade number 15, which is the lighter one at the top. This one is for medium skin with red undertones. And then I have shade number 17, which is medium to tan skin with cool undertones. So I'm hoping I can use shade 15 for my under eye and kind of like to brighten the center of my face, and then shade 17 as a spot concealer. So we're going to be swatching these in a little bit, but first let me just give y'all some information about the concealers. They're available in 25 shades and they cost $29. I actually thought that the packaging was going to be smaller than this, so I do like the size of it. It's not quite as big as the Too Faced concealers, and that's one of the reasons I love the Too Faced concealer, because you get so much product, and I think it's the same price. This one might be $30, but they're basically the same price and you get a lot of product with the Too Faced one. But this one is bigger than my other favorite concealer, which is the Estee Lauder Double Wear one, and this one I believe is also around the same price. This might be like $33, but I do like the size of this because for some reason on the pictures I thought it was going to be way smaller. But this has, how much product is in here? These have 0.4 ounces of product per tube. So these are supposed to correct, brighten, blur, and conceal while blending into a luminous finish. It's supposed to be lightweight, it's supposed to melt right into your skin, and it's supposed to have a very creamy consistency. It doesn't say on here anywhere how long it's supposed to wear, but of course, especially for our under eye concealer, we do want that to be an all-day wear. So let's look at these shades. Let's do some swatches first. I'm going to start off with shade number 15. This is the lighter one. This is the one that I'm thinking will be good for the under eye. So this is what the tube looks like. It looks a little different than some of the other applicators that I had, because it's not, the doe foot is kind of shaped a little bit differently. Like it's a little more pointy than some of the other ones. Like it's not quite as flat, if you can see what I'm talking about. But I think that'll be really good for like getting right up in the corner of your eye. So let me do a quick swatch of this. Yeah, I think this will be good for my under eye area. That is shade number 15. And the darker one is shade number 17, and I'm thinking this one looks a little dark, but I'm thinking maybe I can use shade number 17 as a spot concealer, but it does look a little dark, but we'll see. So they do say that these are also supposed to correct. Now shade number 17 to me does look like a correcting shade. It does look kind of peachy. It says that it has a cool undertone, but I feel like it is borderline peachy, maybe even a little orangey. And even with shade 15 as it's drying, to me it's also looking a little peachy. So I think with these two shades they will be good for maybe both concealing and correcting. Okay, so I just wiped those swatches off, so I'm just going to quickly put some foundation on first. This is the Uoma by Sharon C Flawless IRL foundation. So this one does have a lighter coverage to it, but you can build it up if you want to. But I want to go in with something that has a little lighter coverage today so that I can see if I can use that darker shade as a spot concealer. So I don't want my foundation to give me like a whole lot of coverage today, so I can test that out. So I'm going to quickly apply this and then we'll go into applying the concealer. Okay, shade number 17, the darker one. This one might actually be a little too dark for me to use as a spot concealer compared to the foundation. Maybe, I'll see. But let's start off with shade number 15, and I'm gonna try this out as a brightening concealer. So I'm gonna be putting it like around the center of my face, but we're mostly gonna be testing it out on the under eye. So I already like the color of that. I'm just going to start off with that amount just because I don't know what the coverage level of this is going to be. It's a concealer, so it should be full coverage. I don't even know if I said that though when I was reading some of the information. Okay, it's supposed to be medium to full coverage. So I'm also going to put some on the corners of my mouth, the chin, and the forehead, and I'm just going to blend them out the way that I always do. So I always like to take residual foundation to blend out the concealer on the chin and the forehead. And then I blend these areas out first just so that the concealers in these areas can sit for just a little bit and thicken up a little bit. So I do like the way it blended out on the chin and the forehead, and it's supposed to be like a luminous finish, and I do see like slight luminosity, but it's definitely not like a dewy finish in these two areas anyway. Like it looks more like a just like a natural finish on the chin and the forehead. So then I like to switch to my Rare Beauty foundation brush to blend out concealer in these two areas, just because it's a little more dense and I just want like a little more coverage from my concealers in these areas. I do like the way that this blends out so far. It blends out really easily. Yeah, this blends out really nicely. So it's supposed to be a medium to full coverage. And I like that level of coverage. Like I feel like I put just a little bit on, but it's giving me really nice coverage. I really like this so far. I just put it on, but I'm really impressed so far. And I think I have like the perfect under eyes to be testing out concealer because I have a whole lot going on under here. But I really like it so far. Is it like the most like full coverage concealer that I've ever used? No, but it's claiming to be medium to full coverage. But I think I got a really good amount of coverage with the amount that I use. So let me know what y'all are thinking. I'm gonna go on top with a little bit more just to see if we can build it up. I'm also gonna put a little bit more. Oh, I put the wrong shade. That's fine because we can test color correcting right here, and as a matter of fact, maybe that's what I should have done. But this is shade 17. I meant to go on top of that with more of shade 15, but I'm gonna put a little bit more of shade 15 on the under eye area. I'm really liking this so far, y'all. I hope it wears really well. If it wears really nicely, I mean, I feel like I might like this better than my Too Faced concealer. All right, I'm gonna blend out the under eye first. I don't want to put this darker concealer on top of this lighter one, so I'm gonna blend out the under eye first. I really like this concealer so far. Okay, what do y'all think for the under eye? I like this. I mean, if it, like I said, if it wears nicely, this is gonna be like my new concealer. It's really pretty. I do see some more luminosity in the finish of it right here compared to my forehead and my chin, which I love because I do have oily skin, but the skin under my eyes is a little it's a little drier, so I like for the under eye area to have like a little bit of glow to it, and that looks really pretty. All right, let me blend out down here. Yeah, and I think that that did a pretty good job at kind of like correcting the sides of my mouth. So I should have gone in with the darker shade when I did the first layer. So I'm really impressed so far. So before I try shade 17 on the chin or the cheek area too, I am going to quickly set my under eye. So I usually use this L'Oreal powder as an under eye setting powder. This is the super blendable True Match powder in the shade C5. So I'm just going to quickly set. I do also have the Pat McGrath blurring under eye powder. That's kind of new to me, but I've been really liking it. I just don't want to use that powder for today because it really does give like a nice blurring effect. Whereas this one basically just sets it. Like anytime you put like a powder on top of a liquid, it's going to, you know, somewhat blur it. But I don't want to use like a blurring powder because I feel like I just want to see like as much as I can like just how the concealer wears and how it looks on its own. I don't want it to look like super blurred the first time I use it. You know, I feel like that might alter like how I'm testing it, if that makes sense. But yeah, I really like it. So of course that powder took down just a little bit of the shine, a little bit of the glow, but I feel like it's still some glow coming through on my under eye. So I am really impressed so far. So let's take a little bit more of shade 17. As y'all have heard me say in other recent videos, I'm having some breakout issues on the chin area, but that's good for today because I'll be able to also test this out as a spot concealer. I don't want to put too much of this on because it is looking a little darker than my foundation. I'm gonna stick with the same brush. So that's definitely giving me some more coverage. I feel like this particular shade I could get away with using it as a foundation too. It'll look a little bit darker than the foundation that I'm wearing today, but I think I could get away with using that as a foundation. This particular brush probably wasn't the best for this because it's a bigger brush, so it's moving the concealer around, like spreading it around a little bit more than I would like, but that's fine. Like I can still see that it's giving me more coverage and it is helping to correct like some of those dark spots on my face. So yeah, I really like that. Let me just put a little bit more on the other side just so that we're even here. I'm really happy because I really like this so far. Let me see what the undertone is for the shade in between these, but I'm pretty sure I skipped that because of the undertone. Yeah, shade number 16 is medium to tan with a warm undertone, which is why I didn't get it. So I usually go for cool undertones, which is why I went for shades 15 and 17. Now shade 15 says it's a red undertone. I usually go for pink tones, but if I can't find pink, then I'll go for red or like golden, but I definitely can't do like yellow and olive. So if shade number 16 were a cool undertone, that would be a little bit better for me to use as like a spot concealer. But I know a lot of us don't spot conceal these days, but I wanted to test it out that way just in case anybody's watching this that does spot conceal, and then it'll just help y'all if you're using me as a shade reference. It might just help y'all to see like a couple different options for my complexion. Okay, so this is what my face is looking like with the under eye concealer and then some of the darker shade used as a, let's say, concealer slash corrector on my cheeks. And I really, really like this concealer so far. I love not only the color of it on my under eyes especially, but I just love the way it's laying on my skin. I think it gives a really good amount of coverage. Like I said, it claims to be medium to full, and I think that first little bit of concealer concealer that I put on gave me almost full coverage and I only had a little bit of it on. I really like the way it's looking so far. So I'm going to quickly speed through doing the rest of my makeup because I know some of y'all like to see the whole process. Everything that I'm going to be putting on today is going to be in the description box. I'll come back and show y'all my look for today and then we'll start the wear test. Okay, so finally, here is my look for today. I feel like it took me a long time to do my makeup for doing such a simple look, but here's the look for today. I always like to do simplistic looks when I'm testing out a complexion product so that we can stay focused on that instead of like being distracted by like eye makeup and, you know, like vampy lips and all of that. So here is my look for today, and I kind of already gave you guys my first impression, which is I really like this concealer so far. I just love the way that it's wearing on my under eyes. You guys can see how I have like those little lines like right under the eye. Everything collects in those little lines. There's really nothing I can do about that. But outside of that, it's just laying very nicely on my under eye area. I like the color of it for my skin tone. And then the other shade that I used on my cheeks, I think it did a really good job of giving me more coverage, giving me a little bit of color correction, and of course some concealer over the spots that I have over on my cheeks. So I'm really liking it so far, but the true test is going to be how it wears during the day. So we're going to start our wear test. It's a little before 8 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to be wearing this hopefully for 8 hours, and then I will come back and give y'all my final thoughts. So I'll see y'all a little bit later on. Okay guys, I'm back. It is 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so we made it to about a 7-hour wear test. I think that's like exactly a 7-hour wear test today. So I have y'all nice and zoomed in so we can talk about some things. So the concealer did not wear as well as I had hoped. I'm not ready to like totally write it off yet, but I was expecting a better wear for today. So I just wanted to point out a couple of things that I noticed from earlier. So I have my under eye setting powder and my bronzer on as eyeshadow today, and I did notice that I got a little bit of fallout on my under eyes, but it was like way after I did my makeup this morning, so I didn't bother to clean it up because I was just trying not to touch the under eye area. So I do feel like they might look a little darker in like certain areas. I just didn't notice it, unfortunately, when I did my makeup this morning. Like I said earlier, I have a lot going on my under eye area, so y'all can see like the little lines that I have right here, and then I'm sure y'all can see the bags. This one here drives me nuts, but because of that, I can like really test out concealers, and I can tell if something is creasing on the under eye or if it's just like following like the natural flow of my skin in certain areas, if that makes sense. And this one is definitely creasing because I'm seeing some creasing in areas where my skin is laying like relatively flat on the under eye area, but I feel like you wouldn't really notice the creasing unless I like pointed it out to you, and you may not even really be able to tell on camera. So don't focus too much like on this area here where I have like all of those little lines, and like, can you see, like, I'm sure y'all can see where I have that little dip under my eye, like under the eye bag. That's not creasing, that's just like my skin. So the concealer is just like sitting on my skin in those areas. But further down where my skin sits relatively flat, I do see like a bunch of little creases in those areas. And the two concealers that I wear all the time, the Too Faced one and the Estee Lauder one, they just don't crease like that. And then actually I think the best concealer wear test that I've ever had is actually the Fenty Beauty Bright Fix concealer. That one I think actually wore better than those other two concealers that I just mentioned. I just don't wear that concealer as a staple because of the coverage level. It just doesn't give me as much coverage as I would like. But I do compare like everything to those because they just don't crease. This one does have, like, to me, noticeable creases, and I say to me because I think they're noticeable to me because I'm testing the product out, I'm scrutinizing it, and I'm like really looking for stuff. But like I said, I don't think that it's noticeable unless I pointed it out. So like, I have definitely tested out some products where I would say to you guys, like, just don't even bother spending your money on it. With this one, I would say it's still worth trying out, although it's definitely not going to be like my new favorite. I do think it's worth trying out. Like, I do feel like I want to play around with this a couple more times. Sometimes, you know, we change our mind about things the more and more we wear them, but the way that it wore today is definitely not going to be like my new favorite. I can say it's good enough to where I want to try it again, but it didn't wear as well as I had hoped. So that's my final thought on this product. So let me know what y'all think about the wear test for today, and if you're interested in this product if you haven't gotten it already. So I hope that y'all enjoyed the video today. If you did, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel before you head out today, and I will see y'all back here for my next one. Until then, take care. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.